Welcome back to Important Updates, global news without the noise. Subscribe to stay updated. I don't think people understand just how crucial Subic Bay is in the power struggle of the South China Sea. Subic Bay, once a symbol of American military might in the Pacific, has long stood as a silent witness to the tides of history and power in Southeast Asia. Now, after years of relative quiet, it is back in the spotlight, drawing the world's attention once again. After more than 30 years, the United States is returning, not with a massive base as before, but with a modern, flexible presence designed for today's complex challenges. This move is a direct response to rising tensions in the South China Sea, where strategic interests of global powers are colliding, and the stakes are higher than ever. Subic Bay's location is ideal for monitoring and accessing vital shipping lanes, making it a prized asset for any military power seeking influence in the region. The renewed U.S. presence signals a strong commitment to regional allies and to upholding freedom of navigation in these contested waters, a principle vital to international law and commerce. For the Philippines, it means added security and reassurance against a more assertive neighbor, as well as opportunities for joint training and enhanced defense capabilities. For the U.S., it's about maintaining stability in a region crucial to global trade, where trillions of dollars worth of goods pass through each year. This story is about geopolitics, shifting alliances, and the growing influence of China, which is reshaping the balance of power in Asia. We'll explore why the U.S. left, why it's back now, and what this renewed presence means for the future of the region and its people. Subic Bay is more than just a port. It's a strategic chess piece in a high-stakes game, where every move is watched by the world. The U.S.-Philippines partnership is being tested and transformed by new realities, as both nations adapt to a rapidly changing security environment. China's actions in the South China Sea are the catalyst for this new chapter, driving both urgency and uncertainty in the region. The past, present, and future of Subic Bay are now more relevant than ever, as the world watches to see how this strategic harbor will shape the destiny of Southeast Asia. The U.S. story at Subic Bay began over a century ago, when the Philippines was still a U.S. territory following the Spanish-American War. American forces quickly recognized the strategic value of this deep, sheltered bay on the western edge of Luzon. The Spanish had long seen its potential, but it was the Americans who transformed Subic Bay into a major naval station after 1898, building docks, shipyards, and support facilities that would soon become vital to their Pacific operations. Subic Bay became a cornerstone of U.S. power in the Western Pacific, especially during the Cold War and Vietnam War. The base served as a critical logistics and repair hub, supporting countless missions and operations across Asia. It was a city unto itself, supporting the U.S. 7th Fleet and thousands of American families. Schools, hospitals, and recreational facilities created a vibrant American community far from home. The base fueled the local economy, providing jobs and opportunities for generations of Filipinos. Local businesses thrived, and many families depended on the steady work the base provided. But the American presence also sparked debates about sovereignty and nationalism. Protests and political movements questioned the cost of hosting such a powerful foreign military force. Subic Bay symbolized the deep U.S.-Philippines alliance, anchored by the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty, which promised mutual support in times of crisis and cemented military cooperation for decades. The base's history is intertwined with the evolution of the two countries' relationship, marked by joint exercises, shared challenges, and shifting political tides. It was a story of shared military goals and economic ties, but also of complex power dynamics as both nations navigated their roles on the world stage. The presence of American warships was a constant reminder of both partnership and dependence, shaping local identity and international perceptions alike. Over time, these tensions would shape the fate of the base, leading to difficult negotiations and, eventually, the U.S. withdrawal in the early 1990s. Subic Bay's legacy is essential to understanding why its reopening matters today, as new challenges and opportunities emerge in the region. The alliance has always been about more than just military hardware. It's about disaster response, humanitarian aid, and the bonds formed between people. It's about the enduring, if sometimes uneasy, partnership between a superpower and a smaller nation, one that continues to shape the future of the Asia-Pacific. The end of the Cold War changed everything, altering global military strategies and alliances. With the Soviet threat fading into history, the US began to question the necessity of maintaining massive overseas bases like Subic Bay, which had been a strategic stronghold for decades. Rising Filipino nationalism, fueled by a desire for true independence, demanded an end to foreign military presence on their soil. In 1991, disaster struck unexpectedly. Mount Pinatubo erupted, sending ash clouds over Subic and Clark Air Base, causing widespread devastation. The cost of repairs was enormous, complicating already tense negotiations between the US and the Philippines. The Philippine Senate voted narrowly to reject a new base treaty, asserting national sovereignty and independence. For many Filipinos, it was a final break from the colonial past, a moment of national pride and self-determination. The US withdrew in 1992, lowering the flag for the last time in a solemn ceremony. The base was handed over to the Philippines and transformed into a bustling commercial hub, symbolizing a new era. For a while, it seemed Subic Bay's military chapter was closed, leaving behind empty docks and silent barracks. The alliance between the US and the Philippines endured, but without a permanent US military presence on the islands. The departure was orderly, but it marked the end of an era, a significant shift in regional power dynamics. Subic Bay's future would be shaped by new challenges and opportunities, as it adapted to a civilian role. The Philippines stood on its own, but the region's security dynamics were shifting, with new threats emerging. The story was far from over, as the sun set on one chapter and rose on another, full of potential and uncertainty. After the US left, China's rise changed the balance in the region. China modernized its military and focused on the South China Sea, claiming almost the entire area with its 9-dash line. These claims overlap with the territories of the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Brunei. China used its Coast Guard and maritime militia to push out other nations' vessels, including Filipino fishermen and oil explorers. The most dramatic move building artificial islands in the Spratlys, turning reefs into military outposts with runways and missiles. In 2016, an international tribunal ruled against China's claims, but Beijing ignored the verdict. China's actions challenged international law and signaled a willingness to use power to reshape the region. Smaller neighbors, especially the Philippines, felt the pressure. The South China Sea became a flashpoint for regional security. The stage was set for renewed US-Philippines cooperation. For the Philippines, China's assertiveness created a crisis. The West Philippine Sea is vital for food, energy, and national pride. Chinese ships blocked Filipino fishermen and threatened resource exploration. The Philippine military was outmatched, unable to push back without risking conflict. Anxiety spread across Southeast Asia as China's ambitions grew. Diplomacy and legal victories proved ineffective. China simply ignored them. The Philippines needed a stronger deterrent and turned to its oldest ally, the United States. This shared concern revived the US-Philippines defense partnership. The US watched China's moves with growing alarm. America's main interest, keeping sea lanes open for global trade, trillions of dollars passed through the South China Sea. If China controlled these waters, it could threaten the world economy. The US Navy's role is to ensure freedom of navigation and deter aggression. China's militarization of islands challenged the rules-based order. US alliances, especially with the Philippines and Japan, depend on credibility. Standing by would undermine trust in American commitments. The US needed a persistent presence in the region, not just occasional patrols. Subic Bay's strategic location made it the perfect hub for renewed cooperation. The return was driven by a mix of economic, security, and alliance imperatives. The US return to Subic Bay is different this time. There's no massive base, just a flexible arrangement under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA. Signed in 2014, EDCA allows rotational US presence at select Philippine bases, respecting Philippine sovereignty. The US doesn't own the land. It operates alongside Filipino commanders. Joint training, pre-positioned equipment, and upgraded facilities are all part of the deal. In 2023, the Philippines granted access to new EDCA sites, including Subic Bay. This move directly addresses security concerns in the South China Sea. For the Philippines, it means stronger defenses without giving up control. For the US, it's strategic access with a lighter footprint. Subic Bay is once again central to a modern, adaptive alliance. The renewed U.S. presence at Subic Bay brings real advantages. For the Philippines, it's enhanced security and a stronger bargaining position. U.S. forces deter aggression and help modernize the armed forces of the Philippines through joint training and infrastructure upgrades. Improved bases and equipment boost the Philippines' own defense capabilities. The partnership also enables faster disaster response, crucial in a country often hit by typhoons. For the U.S., Subic Bay is a vital logistical hub, allowing quicker, more effective operations in the region. The alliance strengthens trust and interoperability between the two militaries. It's about more than hardware. It's about shared commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific. The arrangement is a win-win, advancing both nations' interests and regional stability. Subic Bay's revival cements the U.S.-Philippines alliance for a new era. The U.S. return to Subic Bay marks a new chapter in the alliance. It's not about reliving the past, but facing today's challenges together. China's rise and the contested South China Sea have brought old allies closer. Subic Bay is once again a focal point in the struggle for regional stability. The EDCA framework balances Philippine sovereignty with U.S. operational needs. This partnership is about preventing conflict, not provoking it. The U.S. presence signals a commitment to peace, rules, and mutual defense. For the Philippines, it's security and a chance to protect its interests. For the U.S., it's a key part of its Indo-Pacific strategy. As tensions simmer, Subic Bay's role in shaping the region's future is undeniable.